You're listening to Life with Herpes, and this is episode 57. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Life with Herpes. I am your host, Alexandra Harbushka, and we're here together, hanging out, having a good time, whatever it is that you're doing. I don't know, maybe you're at work, maybe you work from home and you're just putting this on in the background, maybe you're on vacation, but whatever it is, I love that I am sharing your personal time with you. So thank you for allowing me to do that. If you have not joined our community, then you need to. We have a community of people who are waiting to say hello to you and want to meet you, and I want to meet you. So go to lifewithherpes.com, sign up. It's free. So not only do you have a community that you get to talk to, like we are a live community. It is a private Slack group. It is super secret. You get to be a part of that, but you also get cool shit. You get like downloads. I update them. I have ebooks for you. You get discounts on my toolkits, on the coaching, all sorts of fun stuff. So great opportunity for us, right? To hang out and get to know each other. Today's episode is one of my favorites. I say this every time. So if you are a binge listener, you will hear me say this every time. If you're not, then you'll be like, oh, this is her favorite episode. They're all my favorite, but I love the hashtag Ask Alexandra because I really do get to hear from you, and you ask me such great questions, and they're questions that I would not have thought of, and it's just great to hear what you're thinking. So that I can answer it, and I know there's somebody else that is listening that is like, oh my gosh, I just had that same question. Thank you. So this is a hashtag Ask Alexandra question. It is from someone who is anonymous, and she, I know it's a she because I do know her name, but she asked to be anonymous. She's from Sydney, Australia. She's from Down Under. That's a horrible Australian accent. I don't know what I'm doing. But here is what she wrote, and here is what she's asking. So I had non-penetrative sexual contact with an HSV-2 positive person. I was tested at 2 and 3 months post-contact and was negative for HSV-2, but positive for HSV-1. Do you think I should still worry and get tested again in 6 months? I've had no symptoms at all except for a few pimples, which were painful and didn't look like herpes sores. All right. So great question. So, and just to clarify, HSV-1, HSV-2, HSV-1 is commonly known as oral herpes, what we have on our mouths commonly, and HSV-2 is commonly known as genital herpes, what is in our genitals. I do want to make sure, gosh, I'm itching my mosquito bite. For those of you that are watching me on YouTube, horrible mosquito bite. So HSV-1 and HSV-2 can be transmitted back and forth from oral to genital. So meaning you can have HSV-2 orally and HSV-1 genitally through all of our fun activities that happen during sex. So I'm not sure what you mean when non-penetrative sexual contact. I just would assume that means that you were foreplay. Is kind of what I'm thinking. You probably had foreplay and oral sex, but you were in contact with somebody who was HS2 positive. Okay, number one thing to think about here is, was this person having an outbreak at the time? That's a huge question to ask yourself. If the answer is no, that is good news. If the answer is yes, that's also good news, but if somebody has an active outbreak, it is very contagious, and it is very possible that you would contract it. As we have talked about in the past, it is skin to skin. It's touch to touch. Now, other things that we have talked about in the past episodes are that 70% of transmissions occur without an outbreak. So just because there is no outbreak does not mean that it won't get passed. So what I want you to look at, so you were tested at 2 months and 3 months. Here's the thing. I know you're worried. Here's the thing. I don't want to say the risk, because risk is a bad word to use. You know the outcome of having sex, right? There's always an outcome. It's pregnancy or STDs, right? And you're going to do everything possible to educate yourself and prevent yourself from pregnancy or getting an STD. It's not a desired outcome to have an unwanted child, nor is it or not to have, but to become pregnant when you're not expecting. And it's not desired to get herpes, right? But I don't like you. I need to find a new word for risk. But you know that there is a chance. The fact that you've been tested twice and you have been negative for HSV2, I would say that's a really good sign. If it's going to clear your conscience to get retested again at the 6-month period, why not? It might be something that it's just common that you do, knowing that you were exposed to it. But here's the thing. You have probably been exposed to it before. You just didn't know it. So I would say that you're probably most likely in the clear. But I completely understand. Okay? I totally understand what you're going through, and it's that freak out phase, and it's oh my gosh, and you probably can't sleep, and you say you have had a few pimples that weren't painful and didn't look like herpes sores, and you're like looking at those pimples going, oh my gosh, is it a pimple? Is it not a pimple? Oh my gosh, what if it's herpes? I have been there. I totally get it. If it's gonna set you at ease, then yeah, get tested again at 6 months, but then drop it. Continue to be a responsible, sexually active adult and get tested. Get tested for all of your STDs as well as herpes. Yes, absolutely. Be consistent with that. But if it's going to keep you up at night, by no means, I don't want to let you. I don't want you to do that. Funny story. Well, I guess not so funny, but I was in the same boat. I had this dream, and this was recent. Well, when I say recent, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I had a dream that I had AIDS, right? And I woke up in the middle of the night, the morning, whatever time I woke up, panicked, like, oh my gosh. Like, and you believe it, right? Because it's a dream. And you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then you come to realization, and you go, wait, no, that was a dream. Who am I kidding? Well, then I knew that I did not have AIDS. I knew that, but I could not recall the last time that I had an HIV test. I just couldn't recall the results, or the doctor saying, you're fine, or I just couldn't recall it, right? So I stressed myself out so much. I couldn't sleep. A week went by, 2 weeks went by. I tell my fiance, and I was like, I had this nightmare a couple weeks ago. I had this nightmare I had AIDS. I'm freaking out. He's like, Alexandra, you don't have AIDS. And, you need to drop it. Like, you're fine. And I was like, no, I can't recall when I had the test. I know I've been tested, and I know I was recently tested, but I can't recall. Like, I just can't recall. I blanked out on this. And so he's like, then if it's going to keep you up at night, it's not worth it, Alexandra. Go get tested again and you'll be fine. So moral of the story, I got tested again. I was fine. I didn't have it. It was a nightmare. Also funny on that, when I went to the doctor to get tested, and they're like, well, have you been exposed to anybody with HIV? I was like, no. They're like, are you in a committed monogamous relationship? Yes. Is there any like sign of HIV? No. So why are you here? I had a nightmare. They're like, okay, like thinking like I'm lying. I was like, no, really. I had a nightmare. And they're like, so you had a nightmare and you're here? Yes. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Don't stress. Okay? The fact that you have HSV1, it is good that you are listening to this podcast. You do have herpes. Wherever the HSV1 is for you, I'm assuming it's oral. It would be a polite thing. It would be your due diligence. It would be the right thing, the moral and ethical thing for you to do when you are when you are kissing somebody or going to have oral sex with somebody. You should let them know because it can be transmitted to the genital region. And then that person would have genital herpes, right? They would just have the HSV1 strain. So I recommend that you do tell people this, tell them why. There are methods to prevent passing it. That's a whole other podcast. But I don't think you need to get tested again at 6 months. If it's going to, be like my nightmare story I just told you, then yes, go get tested. But other than that, I think you're in the clear. Take a deep breath, go take a goddess bubble bath, do some deep breathing, and you'll be fine. So thank you for submitting this, and I wish you the very best. I will be following up with you to make sure you're okay, all right? So have an awesome rest of your day. For those of you that are also in this situation or going, oh my gosh, I don't know, or I just got herpes, or I want to start dating again, or how do I do that, or what do I do? I have coaching, which is what I was listening to you guys, and that's what you suggested, and I am here. So I do have opportunities for you to do the coaching. If you are a member, you do get 50% off the coaching, which is awesome. So anyways, yeah, I just want to let you guys know about that. Go to lifewithherpes.com, information there on the coaching, and it's also when you become a member. You get information on that as well. So anyways, have an awesome rest of your day. Be super cool like our friend from Sydney, and if you want to submit a question, go to lifewithherpes.com, submit your hashtag #AskAlexandraQuestion, and I will answer it. All right, have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you all soon, and don't have a nightmare like I did. All right, bye.